Ladies and gentlemen, Ball 101 podcast, episode number 4. We're back at it, me and my boy Carson Moore on the other side. Hopefully to be joined by James and Aiden later tonight. But before we get anything else, I want to talk about the Knicks Spurs. Spurs take game 3 in New York. Definitely was a high pressure environment for this young Spurs team and Victor Wembanyama. We're also going to be getting into who we want our favorite teams to trade for across baseball, basketball, and football. But before we get into
Yep.
that, I want to talk about this next game. And not so much as the game, but just the overall presence. I texted Carson last night while I was watching the game, and we kind of came to a unanimous understanding that this game, specifically game 3, was one of the hardest games to watch out of this entire
Yeah.
series. And it mostly for me, I'm not even going to bring up fouls. The first few episodes I've brought up how fouling is getting out of control, which it is. There's no denying it.
hmm
But it really got to a point for me where the challenging system, and this is my hot take, I don't think you should be I think the NBA should completely get rid of challenging calls. Like they should completely get rid of that
Agreed.
system because not only does it slow the game down, but there's just no point. It's not like
Yeah.
NFL or it's not even like MLB where if like a perfect example is the 2019 no call, right? The NFL
hmm
to needed that challenge system in place to swing the momentum of that game. The
Yeah.
MLB needed the ABS challenge system because umps were so bad to the point where they were missing blatant balls.
Yep.
But with the NBA, we see lead changes and score changes all the time. No one can hold a lead in the NBA.
Yeah.
We saw it in game 3. Knicks go up. First of all, that start of that game was very, very sloppy for both sides. You could tell the nerves were high on both sides, but Knicks had a 7-point lead at the start of that game, and that vanished right away. It didn't
It
last
did.
at all. And I think overall that the NBA should do away with the challenging foul system. And Carson had a great idea for what they should do to sort of substitute that in general.
I think, the NBA, like I know that the NFL is such a fast-paced game, but there are times where it's so slow, and the challenging of the calls is something that is good for the NFL, good for college. Throwing that challenge flag is something that, you can see blatantly if there's a foul or not. But when you're playing in such a high pace, high fast paced game like the NBA, where there's not that many change of paces during the game, there's change of leads all the time. But these little fouls that are getting called or stuff that aren't even fouls are just getting out of hand. Like we see it nowadays more than we saw when we were growing up about the flopping. I think if you flop and it's a blatant flop, like I know it started all the way back in 2018, 2019 with James Harden, but also he ran the league in a way that no one else did. He kind of changed the game back then, like along with Steph Curry, but Steph Curry was a lot different than him. Even the flopping was back then.
Hmm.
And if you look at Shea Gilgeous-Alexander back then when he was a rookie, he was straight nose to the ground. He would go through fouls, go through contact, and he wouldn't complain about it. But nowadays, you lay a finger on him, you lay a finger on someone else, and they basically totally react. And the thing I think about this is like, it's so hard to challenge calls in the NBA that it would slow the game down so much more when they challenge it. But what you need to have is a stricter officiating system where these flops are getting called for either a technical or maybe even a flagrant if it is that bad, or just a regular, like they need to have like another category for flopping. But the thing that I told Ryan was that I think that they need like an ABS style or a VAR style, like VAR and soccer style challenge system. I know those are automated and it's different because, baseball's such a slow game that, calling balls and strikes, it's just a head tap. They look. They see if it's a ball or a strike, and then they move on. And same thing with VAR in soccer. Like it's so easy to see an offsides, but also sometimes it leads to a goal, and then they look back and it's an offsides and it's a no goal. So something like that is like I think what needs brought into the NBA, like an automated system where you can see what's a foul, what's not a foul, or just a defined something defined in the rule book for fouls because it's getting way too out of hand with and even looking at last night's games or last night's game, um, the Spurs had 22 free throws to the Knicks 4. And I don't know if you saw the clip of Wemby pushing Brunson down to the ground, but I think that that was just like a cheap play. I think he should have got called for that, maybe a tech or a flagrant, because in today's NBA, like if Wemby did that to Shea, it's probably going to be a tech. But also, I know that that play with Luke Cornett and Josh Hart, I think a lot of the players just get infuriated when they get touched because Luke Cornett was literally coming in for the rebound, and so was Josh Hart. Josh Hart got pushed to the ground because Cornett came in so fast. And then Josh Hart got up and started pushing him. And I think that you just gotta have that mindset where if you get touched, you get touched, whatever. If they call it, they don't call. If they don't call it, they don't call it. If they call it, they call it, whatever. But I think that it's to the point now where it's getting out of hand, and he literally, I like in that case, it's different because it wasn't really a contact play. The ball was already through the hoop, and Cornette was just put in for a rebound, and Josh Hart got pushed to the ground accidentally, and then flipped his lid. I think that there needs to be a system like the ABS or VAR system in in the NBA.
Yeah, it was good, y'all. I'm finally here.
Yes, sir. We
Y'all
want
can
to
hear me?
welcome James onto the podcast. We can hear you
Yes,
loud and
sir.
What's
clear.
up?
We were just talking about
Perfect.
the game, and we were bringing up how poorly officiated that game was, and um, just how
Yeah,
slow paced it was, just based off the challenge system and the fouls. But I wanted to bring up this. I'm looking at the box score here. This is a very good offensive game from both sides. Both teams shot about even from the three. Both teams almost shot about
oh yeah,
even from the field in general. They had good. Both teams had good free throw percentages. But the biggest
yep,
story I'm looking at here is turnovers. The Knicks had 13, or yeah, the Knicks had
yeah,
13 turnovers.
yep,
Spurs only had 8. So that's definitely something to take away from that game. Um, but James, obviously, you're a big New York fan. I wanna get your opinion on what it was like watching this game, and especially later down the line where OG Anunoby missed that second free throw, which would have cut it within
yeah. That was crucial. That was a
scoring
crucial miss
distance.
free throw. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so
Hmm.
I'll tell y'all about the game overall. I'll say this though, like before anything, like the officials have been horrible all series. I'll say that. Like they've been mad inconsistent when it comes to like what should be technical fouls, what should or shouldn't be flagrant or whatnot. But um, actually, the one thing I do agree was the Jalen Brunson flagrant one. Like I agree with that because they consistently call that a flagrant one by getting to the shooter's landing space. That I agree with the flagrant one. Um,
Okay,
I feel like Wemby should have got teed up for what he did to Jalen Brunson, but they said
Agreed.
he's
yeah, we
one
were both
flagrant
in
away
agreement
from
with
a
that.
1 game suspension. Yeah, because he's a flagrant away from a 1 game suspension. And honestly, like for the viewers rating, like you don't want to see a franchise player get suspended. But I'll get to the game. I'll talk about game 3 though. Like I did not like the Knicks' performance, despite the shooting splits being better than the first 2 games, specifically game 1. But like the first quarter, they started out playing sloppy. Like it was the early turnovers. Like the Spurs were getting a lot of points in the paint, mainly with Steph Castle, Wemby, and Dylan Harper. So it was two of the 3 members of the Slash Bros was getting to the basket at will every time, pretty much. And then Wemby got assertive early. Like yeah, like Mikel picking up those 2 quick fouls, and like the referees were like horrible with the whistles overall, but I feel like what cost to the Knicks this game was the turnovers and them being sloppy to start the first and third quarter. Like the second quarter, they played amazing in the second quarter. Cat took over and dominated that second quarter. I feel like the offense should have ran through Cat more in the second half, especially. Like he didn't really get the ball that much in the second half. Like Mikal didn't have a good game. Landry Shamet didn't have a good game. Dudes didn't really do anything either. But I feel like all three of those guys will bounce back. Like Josh Hart had a good game, and like the star of the team of the Knicks though was definitely OG. Like he playing amazing defense. He stopped Dylan Harper's fast break layup again, like he did in Game 2. Like he made game changing moments in Game 3. So yeah, despite the refs, giving the Spurs 24 free throws in the second half to us shooting only 8, which is crazy. I'm not worried because we only lost by 2 possessions. Like we played sloppy. We didn't play our best. Like the Knicks did not play their best brand of basketball, but I'm not worried overall because if you base off how the Knicks played, you would think they lost by 15, but they only lost by 2 possessions. So, you cut down the free throws and avoid the points in the paint. Like the offensive rebounding, they did a pretty solid job. Like it was just the turnovers, and then, and also the Spurs offense made adjustments too. Like they didn't know whether to attack Jalen Brunson in the pick and rolls or throw it down to Wemby a lot in the post, but they did both. They did both attack Jalen Brunson in the high pick and rolls with either Steph Castle or Dylan Harper with the ball, or even De'Aaron Fox, and they always threw it down to Wemby in the paint. So that's why the Spurs won Game 3. So I'm not worried. I think the Knicks will bounce back.
I was about to get into that. Great game from OG Anunoby, 28 points. Yep. But like you said, just other guys weren't able to step up. Mikal Bridges 0 from 3 from the three-pointer. Landry Shamet, who's been really kind of the shocker of this entire playoff run for the Knicks, is he had an off game. I will say though, it was nice to see a Jordan Clarkson 10-point performance, but that was probably one of his best games this year for the Knicks. But I do want to point out, like, I thought that whenever the Knicks originally got Jeremy Sohan, I thought that was going to be a difference move to put him over the top, but he racked up a DMP. I'm looking at straight donuts across the board for his box score, and I really thought that was going to be a difference maker for you guys. But anyway,
the only good thing I'll say about that is that he does know the Spurs' identity. He knows their entire identity, so I guess he's there for that. But other than that, he's not a good NBA player. I was so high on him a few years ago. He was the top 10 pick out of Baylor.
Yeah, he was supposed to be really good for the Spurs when they drafted him. And you think about this, it doesn't matter if he doesn't play or not. He's still winning a ring either way, so he doesn't care. And like James said, he's only there to
it's like the
know what the Spurs are going to run.
Bro.
Exactly. Like, he knows what the Spurs are going to run. He knows their identity. So, like, I guess he's only there for that. Well, that's, like, a good thing that he's there for. But, like, other than that, if he doesn't play, he's kind of just, he's just another guy on the bench. So that kind of hurts their depth in a way. It hurts the Knicks' depth in a way. But I don't know. I think that if he would have gotten in, maybe he could have done something. But, we can't really say that if he's not playing.
Yeah, he can't really shoot. The thing is, though, like, the Landry Shamet deflection, I believe that was game 1 where he had that deflection?
I think so.
When it hit Devin Vassell? Yeah, like, Jeremy Sohan knew that exact play, like, Wemby was going to give. Like, that's one of the plays the Spurs always ran for decades. Like, the big runs, the big hits the guard or the best shooter with the flare screen. Wemby was giving Devin Vassell a flare screen, and then Landry Shamet fell over the Wemby screen and deflected it and hit Devin Vassell last. That was a textbook play. I'll say that. Yeah, Sohan knew that because, he was part of that organization, and the Spurs always ran that play.
Yeah, which that's a good thing, like, that he knew
Holy
that.
shit, like, there is a fucking possum in my fucking front yard. God damn. It's a big-ass possum.
Dude, let's get it for the pod. Let's get it for the pod. Can you get it?
Scaring it away. I'm gonna scare it away. Move.
Damn, bro, it's 10-9. You
Oh
honking,
shit! It's
bro.
right at the
Your
door.
neighbor's probably about to be
Oh, shit.
pissed.
Nah, they'll be alright. They'll be alright. Fuck. That's in my fucking garden now.
Bro, what?
I'm gonna have to chill in here for the meantime.
All right.
All right.
Well, we
That
gonna
was hilarious.
we gonna get into me and Carson were talking about this a little before we got on here. Obviously, it's very dry right now for the NFL offseason, other than the Myles Garrett trade, which we
Oh,
recapped. I did. You weren't on last week, so I do want to know your opinion on
yeah.
the blockbuster trade there with
It.
Myles Garrett and Jared Verse.
I'll say this: it's just like how the Packers got Micah Parsons. I know how. Now every Rams fans knew how I feel when we got him last year.
Yeah,
Now I
James is a
understand how they're
Packers
feeling.
fan.
Yep.
Oh
Oh,
man.
another guy. Another guy I was gonna say too, like looking back on the who's the Packers should recruit. If it's possible, Joey Bosa. For the
Okay,
same reason with Cam Jordan.
so that would answer the question that I was gonna propose here. I'm like I said, I'm a Falcons fan. Carson's a Seahawks fan, and then James, you're a Packers fan. We were
Yep.
gonna go around and um, get one player that
I
we
kind of
would
got a
want our
sleeper for
team
mine. I can't
to
lie.
trade or sign, and we would do that for the NFL, the MLB, and the NBA. So we'll start with the NFL, and then we'll go to the NBA, and then to the MLB.
I got a
All
good
right.
one.
So
He's kind of a sleeper too.
Carson, you could go ahead.
And James is probably gonna not like this one, but I would like the Seahawks. He'd be a cheap guy. He would be someone that we could actually like rely on if we lose some of our edges. I think Lucas Van Ness. I've always liked him. I know he's on the Packers right now, but I like Lucas Van Ness a lot. I think he'd be explosive for us. Just to like carry down the run game, take down the run game. I think he would be a good presence for that line. Could be great off the edge. He's fast. He's big. I think that he could play in the box too. So I think Lucas Van Ness, he'd be a really cheap guy to go out and get. But that's also maybe a little bit of biasy because I like him a lot. But I would love the Seahawks to get him. He would be a cheap price tag, and I think that he would honestly value a lot to the team.
That's pretty
Okay.
solid. So James, you said Joey Bosa,
I
which
gotta think of a good one.
that would be that
I
would be
mean, he's a free
premier.
agent, but if it's a trade,
A free
uh,
agent or a trade, don't matter.
a trade or no trade. You know what? You know what guy I'm thinking of? A
Who you
guy I'm
thinking of?
thinking of that my team should get though. I really want us, like, depending on the Josh Jacobs situation too. For now, he's cleared, but Lord knows. If we need another running back, we could dead ass get Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
I
All
don't know
right.
how he's still in the market, but he's when he's healthy and he's locked in, he's a productive running back. He's not the same running back he was during his first 3 seasons, but he's still a productive running back, a respectable running back. Because they have ETN, so
That is
he's gonna get a
true.
lot of
And then they
touches.
also have Devin Neal, who they drafted last
Yeah.
year. They have
Yep.
Kendre Miller, so that backfield is
Shout
a
out,
little crowded.
shout out to Alvin
Facts.
Kamara's Thanksgiving Day games and Christmas Day games. I mean,
That is
dude,
true.
those are peak. Those
That's
are
a
peak.
pool.
Man, I remember the Saints 2 years ago. Their first 2 games, bro, they scored every fucking drive. I
Bro,
remember.
as a
They scored
Yeah.
Falcons
every single
fan,
drive the
you
first
don't
2 weeks.
understand how nervous I was as a Falcons fan watching the Saints go out and like completely dominate the first 2 weeks of that 2024 season.
Especially against the
I genuinely was
Cowboys.
nervous. Yeah, and the
Yeah,
Cowboys
against the
game.
Cowboys too.
Yep.
That was insane.
Cowboys was crazy.
But I would
And
say
then reality checked in against the Eagles. But yeah, go ahead.
for the Falcons, if we could trade for one player, obviously tough loss with Caleb McGarry retiring
Mm-hmm.
as the right tackle. Um, we did sign Jawan Taylor, but he was very inconsistent in Kansas City, one of the most penalized tackles in the NFL.
Yep.
And we have
Yep.
a couple
That's
of
true.
like seventh round, sixth round rookies, some veteran guys like Storm Norton, but I don't think they'll be able to produce. So what I think we do, what I propose is we call Cleveland and we make a trade for Jack Conklin, who's a veteran
Oh.
presence at the tackle position, um, has been solid his entire career, one of the best tackles in terms of um, reducing penalties. He obviously has connections
Mm.
with Kevin Stefanski. He has connections with our new offensive line coach, Bill
We need
Callahan,
a lot too.
who both were with them in Cleveland and helped him make the Pro Bowl in 2020. I know he's on a little bit of an older side, but until we can get someone to really be that anchor as a right tackle, I think Jack Conklin could be a great sort of 1 to 2 year rental and
Yep.
sort
Wait,
of
did he
be
retire? Or was
in
that the other
this.
guy? I don't remember. I
Caleb
think it was
McGarry
announced.
retired
Yeah, that's what was my
for
fault. Go
Atlanta,
ahead.
and then, but I would love to see a sort of a more, how do I want to put it, a more proven talent at the right tackle spot than
Yep.
taking a flyer on a guy like Jawan Taylor. But in terms of the NBA, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a fan of one of the sorriest franchises in the NBA. As much as I hate to say it, I am a Sacramento Kings fan. Um,
Oh, y'all let
I
that beam
chose
2 years
this.
ago. 3 years
I
ago.
chose this lifestyle. I just like to watch everything I love go away.
Yeah, we know that. It's all right though.
Yeah, that beam was lit though.
That Beam team was legendary.
That
Beam
was a
team
Yeah.
was
legendary team,
legendary.
man.
Y'all won what? 48 wins that year? 49?
All
48,
I know is we were
49?
the third seed. I can't remember
49,
exactly how many
49.
we
Yeah,
won.
third seed. That was a good team.
I think it was 49. Yeah, y'all was behind the Grizzlies and the Nuggets. Crazy. Only
But
only one of
I'm
that. Only one
curious,
team out of the top 3 got out the first round that year.
who do you guys think your favorite NBA teams should trade for heading into,
All
the
right.
off
Well,
season? And it could be a draft day trade. It could be some sort of, just
I'll
something
say
like that.
I'll say mine first, just because it literally has been in the news for probably what 2 months now, and I'm a Celtics fan, so like if we were to I love Jalen Brown, I love Jason Tatum, I love our team that we have now, um, and I think getting Vucevic was actually like a really good pickup for us. I think we should have
I
kept
did like that
Kristaps
trade.
Porzingis. I
I honestly
I liked it a
thought
lot.
at the deadline that Vucevic trade was gonna get you guys over the hump. I thought you
I
got
did
him
too.
on a steal from Chicago.
I I think we did too. I think that if we keep him for another couple of years, I think we could be back in that final spot. Um, I have two players, but like the one is like has been in the news for a while. Trading Jalen Brown for Giannis. I don't know how
I've
well
Ooh,
heard
I
that.
feel about this because yes, Giannis is a dominant player, but I don't know how he'd fit into that scheme with how the Celtics play basketball. Like this, watching the Celtics play is honestly a rough time, no matter if they're winning or losing, because all they do is shoot threes. But I do think that if we were to
Yeah,
get
that's
someone
bad.
dominant, yeah, if we were to get someone dominant like Giannis, he was a beast in the paint, who can play all five positions, I think that we would be a different team than we are now. I think that we would stray away from the threes
Yeah.
a lot more, and I think that we could play a different basketball and be honestly back in that final spot. But other than him, I really like Pascal Siakam. I think I don't think
no,
he's
that's solid.
I don't think he's gonna leave Indiana. He's still in Indiana, right? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's
Sadly,
leaving.
sadly,
I don't think he's leaving
sadly,
Indiana, but I
fried us
would
the
love to
last two
see him,
years.
man. I would love to see him in uh in Boston. I think he'd be great at the either the four or even the five if he has to flex. Um, but
Oh, yeah.
he can shoot.
NBA champion.
Yeah, he is an NBA champ. Um, but yeah, I think I would like either one of those two. I just would not like to give up Jaylen Brown for Giannis because Jaylen Brown's younger and he already has a chip under his belt. So I don't know.
Yeah.
James, you want me to go or do you want to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
I don't want to be that guy. Hold on. Before I talk about my Knicks, though, I thought about this for OKC. If they
Okay.
want to make one trade and don't kill me, Grime, don't kill
Okay.
me, bro. But
What
they
you about
gotta,
to
they got.
say, bro? What you about to
All right,
say?
they gotta target Keegan Murray
I don't
because
hate it.
I
Honestly,
don't hate that
I'm
at
not a
all,
big Keegan
actually.
Murray fan, especially after you got that mega contract. I'm not the
yeah,
biggest Keegan Murray fan. I really don't. I'm really
I was
not.
so high on him too, but then he fell off after his rookie year shooting
He
the
just
ball
keeps
wise.
getting
But
hurt,
defense,
bro. He keeps getting hurt, and
yeah,
his 3-point shot just gets worse and worse by the year.
it did.
It does.
But
It
his
gets
defense is he's a
so
really good
bad.
defender though.
He is a really
He's
good defender.
Like
Keegan Murray
okay,
actually is
like
terrible, bro.
he's a respectable defender.
On the
But
To me,
offensive
bro,
side of the
if
Keegan
ball,
they try
Murray
to
though,
get
isn't
somebody
any.
like
To me, Keegan Murray isn't any different than what Jeremy Sohan is, bro.
yeah, low key,
Like they're the
or
same player to me.
they can get Trey Murphy either or. But Trey Murphy's not a good defender, but he's
Yeah.
really
that's
good
true.
offensively. But now, if I want to get somebody on my Knicks, see, it depends because like Mitch is. If we lose Mitch, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, Mitchell Robinson's a
And I miss
tough
Dante
post.
DiVincenzo.
What do you think about Donovan Mitchell maybe going to the Knicks?
Nah, nah. I never wanted him to begin with because he's not really I mean, he does win a lot of games. He does get you a lot of wins in the regular season, but when it comes like when it matters the most, I can't rely on him because he's an undersized guard who's not athletic anymore. He can't defend. He's just a scorer, and I don't want a guy that's just a scorer on as a number one or number two guy. Yeah. I
So
don't know.
I'm gonna throw some
That's a tough.
names.
That's a tough one
What do you think
to
about
look
the possibility of trading for Giannis? Sort of like what Carson was saying with Boston.
at. We'll give so much
Like,
for one, and
okay,
we've done that,
would you
we've
give
done that before.
would you
I
give
think they would.
Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and maybe like 2 firsts to get Giannis?
I
The
think
thing
they're
is, the
giving up
Bucks
too
will probably
much
want a
if they
little bit
do
more
that.
than that, but I feel like that's too much. Because that's how we got Melo. We should have
Yeah.
waited until the 2011 offseason to get Melo. Like we traded the 2014 first, 2016 first. The 2016 ended up being Jamal Murray, and then traded Raymond Felton, Wilson Chandler, Gallo, Timofey Mozgov. Like at that year, we gave us so much asset for Melo when we could have just waited. That was so. I don't know if we get Giannis, it's gonna be like the same way we got Melo. So I'll say no. I love
I,
Giannis, but no. No, no, no.
I think in
What do you
that
think
deal
about
though,
like
like
a
I think in that deal though, they're giving up way too much. Where the Celtics wouldn't be giving up as
Yeah,
much. They would give up Jaylen Brown and maybe
see?
one of
But
their bench players
if I'm
for
Milwaukee, I'm not taking a Jaylen Brown for Giannis deal. I'm not doing it.
which I
I
don't know
would need
why.
more than Jaylen Brown.
I mean, I agree with that for the Bucks standpoint of things, but also if you're the Bucks, he's just going to be wasting your money if he's not playing and he's injured, and you're not getting to the point where you want to be at. I know that they won a championship a couple of years ago, but since then they really haven't dominated like they did that year, especially Giannis.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
if
That was
if you're the
2023.
Bucks, if you're the Bucks, I think it's kind of a take what you can get situation because I think right now, if they are looking to shop Giannis, I think they're looking to kind of be in a rebuild phase and maybe be where like the Knicks were at one point.
Yeah,
Because the Knicks literally like came from the ground up and they're in the finals now. And I know the Bucks were just in the finals a couple years ago, so it's like, why would they want to go into a rebuild 3 years after?
yep,
But also, like, I think everybody right now is in a rebuild. Like, it doesn't matter the team. So I think it
yeah.
just is what it is. I think you gotta get what you can get.
What if Toronto wants him?
I mean, I think if Toronto wants him, you got to give up. Oh, I don't know,
Like
man.
Vi,
Yeah, you got to give up at
James,
least a
IQ.
couple pieces.
how how would you feel about the Knicks if they don't win it? How would you feel about the Knicks going out and trading for Klay Thompson?
Nah, he's old and washed. I don't want Clay.
But
What I would say,
he'd be a more reliable shooter.
the only thing about that though, what I will say, I wouldn't say he's washed. I just think he's kind of toxic. I think he's in a state now where he's
Yeah,
toxic to like whatever franchise he's in because when the Mavs picked him up, like he didn't really leave Golden State on good terms, and then he went to Dallas and kind of, and also you don't really want someone who gets popularized, but like he's already popular, obviously, but someone popularized by the media and who he's dating and stuff like that because that's also kind of a bad look sometimes because it can drain how you play, it can drain like the way you look like to fans and stuff because that's exactly what happened with Travis Kelsey. Like Travis Kelsey is not the player he was before he started dating Taylor Swift, and then Klay Thompson
Right.
got with Megan Thee Stallion, and he literally tanked. And then that trade looked, or like that pickup looked bad for Dallas. So I don't know. I think Dallas is in shambles right now, though. Seeing Jalen Brunson make it to the finals after trading him because that was one of the stupidest trades that they could have made.
So I
all
would
right. I let my
say,
pops know there's a possum around. Off topic. My fault.
okay.
It's still here.
I would say,
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Before I say something.
I would say for just real quick for my Sacramento Kings, we used to have two superstar point guards, and we didn't know it yet. We had De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton on the same
Three,
team.
three, three, three. Davion
It
Mitchell.
was a Davion Mitchell. That's another good one. But I would say the thing that we need, well, we need a lot of things. Let me just make that clear. We pretty much need a whole roster reset. But the one thing we need desperately now, more than ever before, is a point guard. And
Yes.
this guy recently did get hurt. He missed most of the season with an injury, but I don't know, man. Something about Ty Jerome is
Mm,
speaking my language. I love Ty Jerome as a basketball player. I think
wait.
he's only 28 years old, 29 years old. He'd be reliable for a year or two until we can find that permanent. Maybe we draft somebody this year, right? Maybe Darius Acuff falls to 7, or somebody like that. Which if Dar first of all, if Darius Acuff falls to 7, that would
You
be
have to
a
take him.
miracle for us. But
You have to take him. Darius
um,
Acuff was arguably the
absolutely.
best player in college basketball this past year.
But we're gonna need somebody alongside him, and if one of Zach
I was about to
Levine
say Darius
or
Acuff too.
Malik Monk isn't on the roster next year, I would want us to go out and sort of get another cheaper guard in Ty Jerome, trade with Memphis. Um, I would be comfortable giving up maybe, I don't know. I'd be comfortable with giving up a pretty solid package for Ty Jerome to be a cheaper veteran presence for this Kings roster.
Oh, my fault. It's my turn. Yeah, I'm gonna get my
No,
stuff.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. All right. Oh, is my go? My go?
yeah, you could go.
Okay. What was I gonna say? Okay, so I want to say two things before I get to my point. Right.
Okay.
The first thing I want to say, isn't it crazy how the Bucks 3 years ago went from winning 59 games to being a lottery team?
Yeah.
That was a little crazy. It's the Doc Rivers effect, bro.
Facts. Hold on. I gotta step inside the crib. Hold on. Shit, open. I'm inside. And then the second part, damn, I forgot the second part a little bit. I had a second point. Actually, I remember now. I want to backtrack a little bit on the Spurs, right?
Yeah.
So you remember the year they got Jeremy Sohan? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Out of all the years that the Spurs was doing with the draft and stuff, that 2022 draft class was by far the worst draft year for them
Yeah.
because they had three first round picks. They had Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, and Blake Wesley. I was thinking Josh Primo, but that was 2021. But yeah, that year they had a horrible year of drafting. That's funny. None of those guys are on the team anymore. But all right, those are my 2 points. But you said what the Knicks should do this draft or free agency?
Yeah, what do you think? What's one player that you'd be comfortable with? Big or small, it don't matter.
Man, this is gonna be tough because
Would you,
I mean
okay,
I
so
feel
let me
like
ask, would you trade Mitchell Robinson and some future capital to move up maybe with like a team like Atlanta and get a Mara from Michigan
that sounds good.
to sort of be like a better Mitchell Robinson?
That sounds good because he's 7'3" and he's mobile.
And then that could also be, if you want to think about it, if you don't want to give up Mitchell Robinson, you could give up Karl Anthony Towns and then just get that top pick. And you have pretty much your next Karl Anthony Towns in um, a Mara.
I'll say this though, I feel like we need like another wing, another guy that can complement Cat's game. As long as OG, we need that type of wing. So if I that's it. I gotta hold on. I want to see who's like available. Hold on. Best power forward free agent.
Carson, you good over there?
Oh, I'm good. Don't you worry.
All right, let me take a look. Okay.
Checking in.
Oh, Dean Wade's an unrestricted free agent. That could be interesting.
Dog, I don't think anybody's ever been that excited about Dean Wade ever.
I mean, I
No,
guess, but but the thing is though, we're like above the first apron, and I don't want to be above the second apron. So if we can get him for cheap, that would be nice. But I don't know. I
that's
mean, he can
true.
shoot. He can defend. The thing is though, if the Knicks are gonna sign somebody in free agency, if we're gonna run it back with the whole roster, we need somebody for cheap. And I feel like that's because Tari Easton's a restricted free agent, and he wants to get paid. So I'm gonna say no with that. Uh, if we bring back Precious, that would be nice. I guess. I don't know.
And Precious, that's also another Kings forward. You guys let him go. That was a nice little pickup for us.
I miss Precious. I wish we kept him over Yabu. Yabu Sale was supposed to be that guy for us, but he didn't do well for us.
I honestly thought Gershon was going to work out.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that wasn't gonna. Oh,
So I'm going to
Diawara.
say, I'm going to
Yeah,
say,
probably someone like Dean Wade or who did I say? Bring back Precious, I guess. I don't know at this point.
but the Knicks, like, you don't really feel like the Knicks need to do much because you're already a championship team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we just need a little extra depth.
yeah, I agree
So
with
I'm going to
that.
say, I'm going to start here. Oh, go ahead, Carson. What were you going to say?
I think that if you're the Knicks, you don't really have to do much besides keep going after bench players. I think if you can hold
Yeah,
down your starting five and then work around your bench so you have more depth, because that's honestly where I think that if the Spurs end up winning and win this series, I think that's what's going to be the deciding factor is the bench, because that's one thing that the Spurs have honestly like packed up is their bench. They have so much depth that it doesn't really matter if De'Aaron Fox isn't in or Wemby is not in, because they have those backup guys like Dylan Harper and Luke Cornett that can fill in and fill in those shoes while they're out. So I think that that's the one thing that the Knicks would have to do in this offseason is just brace
Yeah.
for their bench, in my opinion. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks already are a championship team. I don't really see much they could improve on. I think a Giannis trade would set them back more than it would propel them sort of over the hump.
Yeah.
But I do want to get into um, potential MLB trades with my favorite team. Me and Carson kind of been, you know, rivals from birth. Uh, Yankees
Yep.
fan as myself, and then a Red Sox fan over there with Carson Moore.
I'm a Yankees guy too. I'm not really into baseball. I don't really got that knowledge, but yeah, I'm a Yankees guy too.
Yeah, I always knew you were my best friend, James. But
Appreciate
um,
it, man.
you know, one guy I think the Yankees could trade for, Aaron Judge recently got hurt. He's going to be out. No one even
Shit.
knows when he's going to come back. So we're going to need somebody to be reliable and fill in while he's out.
I
Because
heard they lost today too.
Jason Dominguez is on the IL, and with Spencer Jones being young and inconsistent with his time up in the majors so far, and Giancarlo Stanton being mostly a DH, I think one guy, if the Yankees want to go out and make a move to sort of um, stop a potential, because we're having a great season so far. I think that this is could be the another chance to go back to the World Series after losing to the Dodgers, but this could really propel us in that direction if we go out and call the San Francisco Giants, potentially get Jung Ho Lee, the
Yeah. That would be a
fielder.
good
I
pickup.
think that would be a great pickup for us. People are going to bring up his contract. You know, he signed a 6-year deal with the Giants, but he has an opt-out clause after that fourth year of his deal when he signed that 6-year contract in 2024. So he could opt out of that contract and opt out of the Yankees after this year, which honestly I would prefer him opting out because by that point Judge will be healthy. The only reason I would say keep him at that point is if something were to happen with Giancarlo Stanton, whether he retires or if Spencer Jones ends up being traded, but I don't think we trade him. But Jung Ho Lee, obviously, I think he has better fielding skills than Aaron Judge, which is already a plus. Super fast. The only thing you're missing there is power, but when you have guys like Ben Rice, like I said, Giancarlo Stanton, those kind of guys with big power stepping up, there's not really a need to go out and get a slugger like Yoran Alvarez or somebody in that power department with less fielding skills. So I think in terms of being cheaper than what you would potentially get in a Yordan Alvarez deal, I think Jung Ho Lee could be a potential replacement for Aaron Judge this season if he is out indefinitely.
I got a question. So before Carson goes, um, so like I know the Yankees are. I think they have a good record, correct?
Yeah, we're top of the AL East right now.
Perfect. So like, what do you think is like their biggest flaw? Do you think it's like batting, like infield, no,
I would
fielding,
say,
or bullpen?
oh no, actually we're second in the AL. We're
Yeah.
second in
Second.
the AL East behind the
Second in the
Rays,
AL right now. They
but
were
we
they
have
were
more
first.
wins. It's just we were first. Now we're
Yeah.
second, but one win. Don't worry about Boston. They're in the bottom. You don't have to worry about,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
winning the
Yeah.
division
Yep.
They
anytime
used to be
soon,
good a
bro.
decade ago.
You don't have to worry about Boston winning anything, bro.
Damn.
Just you're good, bro.
I remember back
Um,
then they had Jacoby Ellsbury, David Ortiz, Dustin Pedroia,
I
I
would
think.
say the Yankees'
I know
biggest
the name.
weakness, in my opinion, is this might be a little underrated, but I don't know. I want to say I want to say first base, but with Ben
First
Rice
base.
being who he
Yeah.
is and Paul Goldschmidt still being reliable, I would probably say catching is the the catcher's probably our weakest position. I know we have Austin Wells. He's been solid, but we don't really have anybody behind him. We used to have Jose Trevino. He was solid. We used to have Kyle Higashioka, another solid backup, but they since have moved off, and JC Esquera has been sort of in between for us in terms of being able to be a reliable catcher. He recently got optioned down to AAA in favor of a younger prospect, but that would be another guy. Like if the
Nope, we good? Oh, okay. Yo, you know what's funny? So back when I watched baseball a little bit, like I remember the catcher wasn't really an issue. Like that's when that back in when the Yankees had like Russell Martin, Jorge Posada, like back in the day. That wasn't really that much of an issue back then. That's crazy how
no,
things changed.
but I think again, like with Esquera being inconsistent, I think Hunter Goodman could be cheaper, a veteran presence, and um, it's not really competition. Wouldn't be competition with him and Austin Wells, but just again being able to provide that um, stability. But overall, there's nothing really to change. The Yankees are the best organization in baseball, and will
Yes.
always be better than Boston because
Yeah,
Boston shit
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Sure, buddy.
Alex Cora, nice job firing him. He blows too. Um,
oh, yeah, I heard about that.
yeah,
All right, Carson.
All right.
yeah. What are you
If you
gonna
watch
say?
baseball or if you follow baseball at all, yeah, the Red Sox stink. They're horrible. It's horrible to watch them.
Nobody needs to
Literally,
watch. No, hey, nobody needs to watch
Bro,
baseball to know
I
that
they
they
don't want
sucked
to
suck.
good in
hear
the
anything.
2010s.
Nobody needs
I
to
don't want to
watch
hear
baseball. Nobody
anything.
needs to watch baseball to know that they suck. No one.
All right, pipe
Yeah.
down. You got your time. You got your time. Okay.
Our
I got
time
my
has been
2000.
forever. Our
I
time
got
has
my
been forever.
2007 champions flag in the back. All right. This is the
Hey,
only thing I have to
congrats,
say.
bro. I was born. That's how bad they were, bro. The last time they won anything of meaning, I was born.
2017, bro.
Damn.
What are you talking about? We have a
Where's
more
the World
recent
Series
world.
though?
We have a more
Where's the World
recent
Series
world.
though?
We have a more recent World Series than the Yankees do.
Wait, that's
A
not
more
true.
Yes, it is. We won in
That's not true.
2018, 2017, 2018.
Oh, right. Something.
Yeah, yeah,
whatever, bro.
yeah.
I forgot y'all won in 2018.
Hey,
Yeah, and
dude,
then
in
where'd that get
Cooperstown,
you?
the
Where'd that
27
get you?
time champions thing is cool, but
Wait,
you know
Where'd
who
that
what?
they beat
get you
that year? I
though?
don't remember. Wait, they beat the who they
Who
beat?
did
The
we beat that
Rangers?
year?
Dodgers?
I think it was the Dodgers that year.
I
Um,
think it was. Let me do my research.
but but the only thing that we struggle with, I know that we struggle a lot, like at the beginning of the season with our fielding. It wasn't so much our batting
It was
because
the
they were
Dodgers.
thinking, yeah, it was the Dodgers. That's what I thought. It was we didn't struggle so much with our fielding, but
Damn, y'all
or with
went
our batting, but it was
five.
the fielding, and they were thinking about moving Roman Anthony to the infield or even DH because he was having such a bad outing
Oh,
in the outfield. But honestly, that's kind of cemented itself. He's honestly found his role. We are a very young team, which I think that's something that a lot of people need to take into account. Calling up Marcelo Mayer and calling up Roman Anthony last season, and then sending down Christian Campbell this season. Those were our big three when they were all in double and triple A. We brought them up, but I think for us, it's pitching. Pitching is the worst thing for us right now. I think if we had a very good, I mean, honestly, if you look on paper, our pitching isn't bad. Like you look at the pitchers and you're like, they have a pretty good rotation, but it's how they perform. Greg Weissert just went out with on the 15-day IL, and then Brian Bayo just got sent down because he's had so many bad starts. Garrett Crochet, that was a very, very big pickup. I was very happy about that. But that was just he when he's out there pitching, he looks like he hurts. He looks like his arm hurts. Um, I think he needs to just, I don't know, be on the IL and see what's wrong with him because he's definitely not healthy. Um, for pitching, I genuinely don't know because there are a lot of pitchers I like, and I think the only good thing about our pitching is our closing, which is Aroldis Chapman. Um, because every single time we're up in a game and it's the ninth, he comes in, closes it out like he's supposed to. But
Oh
for
yeah, I have
our
remember.
rotation, it's
Yeah,
so bad. I think we need to honestly just scrap and call people up. I don't think that we need to really make a big move, but if we did, and I know that a lot of people have been talking about like Jaron Duran getting moved and him being in trade talks, but if we lose Jaron Duran, we don't really have that veteran presence on our team. So I don't think you do that because he's also been the best player for us in the past, I'd say, month and a half. Him and Wilson Contreras, that was a really good pickup too. At first base, I think
that name sounds
the
familiar.
yeah, Wilson Contreras, he got picked up. He was a really good pickup for us. I I don't know about pitching. Like I can't really like off the top of my head think of any pitchers that I would want besides like Tariq Skubal, but that's also a tough get because we'd have to give up a lot for him. Um, but what I would like to see maybe in the next year or two, um, maybe try and get Bryce Harper, um, depending on how our team looks, or even get Mookie Betts back because losing Mookie was kind of our downfall. That's what started it all. And
Yeah, were you surprised that he left y'all?
yeah, yeah. But I mean,
Oh
it's a
shit.
business. He went for money. He won two, what
Yeah, he
was it,
did.
two or three
Everybody
more
wants to be good.
championships. So I mean, I can't
Yeah,
really be
like
mad
I
about
think we.
that. And we lost Rafi. We lost Rafael Devers last season. So I mean,
Oh yeah, he
that
was
wasn't.
y'all starter, right?
Yeah, he was kind of our star. Like we lost him last year, and last season at the later half of the season when he was in San Francisco, it didn't really look like it was a bad deal because he wasn't performing. But now it's like he is actually performing pretty well. But that kind of sucks. But our batting isn't horrible. We can score runs. But also another thing is when it gets later into the lineup is that we leave a lot of guys on base in scoring position. We leave a lot of the guys on second and third in. We leave them out there, which is something that you should never do, especially if you're up. If you're up by 2 runs, or if you don't have any outs, or if you have one out, you shouldn't leave someone stranded on third ever, in my opinion. But also, I saw this stat the other day from one of the Red Sox accounts I follow, and it was like, how are our people that left last season? How are they performing this year? And three of our starting pitchers that left last season are all performing under a 2 ERA and are all undefeated this season. Two of them are in Milwaukee.
Damn.
Um, so that was a really great stat to see, especially now that our pitching sucks. So I think pitching is a big thing for us, but I think
Is that your biggest weakness, or?
it's the biggest weakness. We cannot like I was watching the other day, or it wasn't the other day, it was last week when I was in the car. Like I had the game on and I was listening to it, and it was first inning against the Orioles, 5-0, first inning. No outs, 5-0. I was like, this is just it's so rough to watch a team like that because, you know, our farm system is not bad at all. We're like every single season we're like top 10 in farm system, especially for pitchers. So I don't know why we don't go and get pitchers from our farm system at all, like double or triple A. I don't know why we don't call any of them up because we've called up Christian Campbell, we've called up Roman Anthony, we've called up Marcelo Mayer, all position players, but we haven't really called up any pitchers. So I think that's one thing we need to do instead of spending money. But also our head of baseball
Mm.
operations is god awful. He literally I can't even, man. I can't even. It makes
Wait,
me
hold on.
flustered
No,
talking about this.
don't normally teams that are like either shorthanded with the position or that entire position is like underwhelming. Don't they usually call up the double A and triple A's once they have
They
those glaring
usually
issues?
they usually do, which is something that we see like a lot, like especially with the Pirates when they just called up Connor Griffin. I know that he's a star, but that's also
Uh,
something we did with Roman Anthony. We called him up when he was, getting to his point where he could perform. And, if I were the Red Sox and we needed something now, I would honestly go out and trade for Jared Jones from the Pirates because he just got back from surgery. He's been pitching really well. I know he didn't pitch well in his first start, but his start against the Astros last week, he actually pitched pretty well. Um, I also like Dennis Santana for the Pirates as well. He's a very, very good what is it? A very good relief pitcher. Um, so I would like those
okay.
two and
You know
like
who
Tariq
else I've been
Skubal.
I've been looking at from the Pirates who could be a cheaper option for you guys. He recently, I mean, he didn't come out and say he wanted to trade, but the way he worded it was kind of like he wasn't happy. Was the
Yeah.
guy that Jared Jones replaced in the starting pitcher role was
Hmm.
Carmen Legensky.
Yeah.
Um, that would
I
be
like
a
him a lot.
super cheap option for you guys.
And
I
and
mean,
and
you
I
could pick him up
and
for
I
pennies on
think
the dime.
and I think when you're looking at trades like that, if you are to trade maybe like one of your, you know, star level players or even under that for some pitching help, I think you do look at the Pirates because their pitching right now, even in their farm system, is going to be great for probably the next 5 years. Maybe if they can actually do something with it, maybe win a World Series or even get to the playoffs. But that's besides the point. But I think they're like one of those options where they're a cheap team, they're a small market team, and then you have the Red Sox who are kind of the same at this point. That it wouldn't be a bad trade or it wouldn't even be a bad pickup if you went out and got someone like that. So I think pitching is just I can't even like name people because we just need so much help. It's gotten to a point where it's like that's our deciding factor, and that's the biggest piece of the game is your pitching. So I don't know. I think and I even wouldn't mind like bringing Chris Sale back because he
I remember Chris
when
Sale.
when he was in Boston, he was honestly a great pitcher for us. He didn't perform too bad, and also the I don't even know, man. I like Spencer Strider as well. I think he's getting to that point in his career where he could go for a cheaper deal from Atlanta because he's already been that kind of main guy for Atlanta when it comes to their rotation, and he's been an all-star multiple times. So I think Spencer Strider would probably be my main guy to go after, but also Tariq Skubal if you want to give up stars, which I think we're in that state right now where we need anything possible to help us. But yeah, I'd say that those are like my two main guys, and then maybe like Jared Jones and you know some of those farm guys from Pittsburgh, but that's about it.
Wait, did you like Chris Sale more than David Price back then?
You see, like that's the thing too, is like David Price was honestly probably our like one of our best pitchers we've had in the past couple years. I like he performed a lot better for us than Chris Sale did. Um, but I like both of them. I think
Oh
David
yeah,
Price I did
I
like
remember
more.
him in Tampa.
And another thing that I don't understand is why we got rid of
Yeah.
Kenley Jansen when we did. I understand we got a Aroldis Chapman in that closer position, but you could also use him as a relief pitcher because Kenley Jansen's nasty. He's nasty. So why don't you keep him and maybe have him pitch for 2 innings before you bring Aroldis Chapman in? You know, he was he liked it in Boston, and that's the thing. Like we've lost so many pitchers over the past couple of years that we just didn't perform well with. We got no run support, didn't make it to the postseason, and that's really what made them go on their way. Like Walker Bueller was one of them, and he was in L.A. and oh god, I'm trying to think of the other guy's name, redhead with the beard. Oh, Dustin May. He was also in
Justin
Boston.
Turner. Oh,
Yeah, well, Justin Turner
Oh
too,
yeah,
but
wrong
yeah,
Dustin.
red,
Dustin
wrong,
May.
wrong redhead boy.
Dustin May, he was in Boston as well. So that's two guys that came from championship teams like the Dodgers when they had their little run that just didn't perform well with the Red Sox, which really really stunk because it ended up them not getting another contract with them. So I think if you get one of those guys like those two, like you got to keep them and see how they perform and see where they can get to because it's always different on a different team. So I think you just have to give them their time. But that was kind of a long rant there.
You know, Well, you know what's funny? So I be on TikTok all the time, right? And like a couple years ago, I followed this Mets fan. His name is like Mets RSL or whatever. He be crashing out and stuff whenever the Mets are like losing and stuff. It's just funny to watch.
So
Yeah,
before
I've just
we, I want to
Annoying.
try something before we get into this thing I want to try. I did want to point out real quick that according to Adam Schefter, um, it would be more
Oh,
likely than not if Aaron Donald comes back and plays one more year alongside Myles Garrett. So I just want,
bro.
I'll go first about what I think about this, and um, y'all can go from here. But personally, it's kind of the same thing with what the Colts did last year. Not really the same thing, but what the Colts did with Philip Rivers and what the Rams could potentially do with Aaron Donald. I think this is going to ruin the whole idea of somebody retiring. And
yeah,
if the Rams do this, if the Rams bring back Aaron Donald, who is almost was it 3 years removed from football, 35 years old, and he's gonna come back. It's sort of like what we saw with Brett Favre, who retired like 3 different times. Tom
yep,
Brady retired 2 times. Philip Rivers now retired two
Gronk,
times. I looked at the
Gronk retired
Raiders.
twice.
I looked at the Raiders receiver room. When did Philip Dorsett come back to football? I didn't even know he was back in the NFL. He must have unretired. And I feel like the whole idea of, and also this past season, the Colts bring in Nasir Adderley, who retired a few years ago, who's a free safety. He retired young, so that means it's not really the same thing, but still, he unretired. I feel like the whole idea of an athlete retired from a sport is gonna go away here in the next 10 or so years, because you're seeing so many teams realize that there's no talent in the free agency pool, that they are this desperate to try and bring an older player back to their team that'll actually think it'll make a difference. Like the Colts, you're telling me out of everyone that you have either in the free agency pool or on your practice squad is worse than a 40-year-old Philip Rivers.
Anthony
I'm
Richardson
telling
was
you,
gonna
I'm
be.
telling you, well, Anthony Richardson got hurt, but I'm
Oh, yeah, he
telling
did.
you,
He did. He did.
like, I can name you 10 free agent quarterbacks right now who I would rather have over Philip Rivers right now. Like, I would rather have Jaron Hall, who hasn't played football professionally. I would rather have Dorian Thompson Robinson. I'd rather have, um, like, just backups like that. Like, I don't understand how you don't just at least even Riley Leonard. I would have Riley Leonard over a guy like Philip Rivers. And but yeah, I just think the idea of an athlete retiring is gonna go away very soon. And
Yeah,
but it would be cool to see Aaron Donald back in a Rams uniform. But still,
it's gonna be
I'm
scary
worried
though.
about
yeah. I
what
would hate that.
retiring is
I'm not
gonna
gonna
look
lie.
like in the next 10 years.
Well, the only thing I have to say about that is like retiring is supposed to be bittersweet. Like you look at like JJ Watt retiring, like he could come back. Like he could because he's still built. He still trains like
Okay,
it.
so
Same with
then
James
here's the
Harrison.
question: if Will Anderson or Daniil Hunter get hurt, do the Texans call J.J. Watt and say, "Hey, we need you to
I
come
don't think
play"?
so.
Like,
I don't think
wouldn't
so.
that
I
just
think
get annoying at that point, though?
yeah. I
Like,
think
okay,
it's
so
just
what
like
if Aaron Donald does come back? What if he has like another 10 to 15 sack season and then he retires again? What's stopping the Colts from calling Andrew Luck and saying, "Hey, we need you to come play again"?
see that's one thing I was gonna say is the Andrew Luck situation was 10 times different because um I just saw like interview with Eric Ebron where he was talking about that and saying that like him and his trainer would all because he had his own trainer, he had his own like health staff and all that stuff. And he said that that was a lot different. That in practice, like literally the day before, he was just slinging the ball. Like he looked like he was, ready to go for the season, and then all of a sudden the next day he was announced his retirement. So it's
I
like
remember that.
with that, it's a lot different, I think, but it's still the same. Like if you go into retirement, it should be bittersweet. You shouldn't come out of it for anything, but it's all money. You know what I mean? It's like sports have gotten to such a business standpoint. I know it's a business in the first place, but it's gotten to such a business standpoint now that it's kind of annoying that you can just for any price tag you can bring a guy back out of retirement because like Aaron
Bro,
Donald,
it's
I think
like
he retired too early, but that's just me.
James, you could say what you were gonna say before I make my point.
You know what? Athletes coming out of retirement nowadays reminds me of it, and it's annoying too. Actually, this is worse than retiring. It's like when these professional athletes go back to play in college. That's exactly what it
Yeah,
reminds me of in a way.
yeah, kind of,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
They,
Which
like
that's a whole different.
opting out of
Oh,
yeah.
there's been a weird trend lately, yo. Like mainly this, yeah, actually the trend started this year. Actually,
it's been more
it's been a
basketball
weird
players
trend,
than
but
football players, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's the issue. Like you playing professionally, either in the NBA, the G League, or even overseas, and you want to go back to college because
Yeah,
NIL money sounds better. Like that's crazy.
like
But
the only way I can understand that though is like if you do get drafted and you're not playing or you see yourself not playing or getting paid as much and then going back if you haven't even played a single game in G League, preseason, regular season, anything like that. That's the only way I see it fit, but I don't know, that's just my viewpoint from that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I would,
facts.
yeah, I agree with that. I think it's also for it's what we see in ML, in the MLB as well in the MLB draft, guys opting to go back to or coming out of high school, going to school or going back to school to raise their draft stock. But the point I want to get into, seeing somebody unretire after retiring is sort of like it's sort of the reaction that I had whenever it was Comic-Con and I'm looking at Robert Downey Jr. holding the Doctor
Yeah.
Doom mask. Uh, and I didn't know how to feel because I'm like, damn, that's Iron, like, bro, I can only see Iron Man in that. And like, I don't mean to switch gears, but dude, the more I'm reading about Doomsday, the more I'm worried about it because
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire is reportedly to have a huge role in this film.
That's my
And
goat.
so, oh wait, okay. Wait, with three of us here, we can get into this. Who, in your opinion, is the best Spider-Man? Tobey
Toby,
Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland?
Toby.
Toby's the best Spider-Man
Why?
because
Why
in
Toby?
my opinion, he's he's bulked up enough to be Spider-Man. I know that he's not like Spider-Man in the comics isn't like this giant guy, but
So
also
what, bro?
he
Is Spider-Man just an appearance thing to you then?
no, that's what I'm
Like that's
saying
what
though.
like Spider-Man can't be like
I
a
like I like his origin. We get Green Goblin, which I think makes him a better character in itself because he has to go through this mentorship where he has Norman Osborn as his mentor and then finds out that he is the Green Goblin while Norman's trying to find out if he's Spider-Man or not. And it just makes this mind game. And then they have to go fight each other. And then he ends up killing him, which takes a toll on him. And I think it's also, we got
Facts.
symbiote Spider-Man too, which that's the first time we've got it in live action yet. We'll wait for Secret Wars, but yet that's the first time we've ever got it. And also, he has swinging scenes. Him swinging through New York, I think, are some of the best swinging scenes like before we got like CGI where Andrew's swinging through like the electromagnetic field, like that is one of the best scenes in all of like Marvel history is him swinging through the like the electromagnetic field. That is the best in my opinion, one of the best Marvel shots ever. But this is all like practical effects. This is all him swinging, and also we get his origin. He actually gets bit by the spider. We see that. He actually like gains muscle from it like he does in the
Facts,
comics.
facts.
We see that. Him trying to learn his powers where he crawls up the wall. He has those little like spikes in his hands. That's comic accurate. He's climbing up the wall, him swinging, him going like this, and then him like trying to go like it's perfect. Him finding out his powers, I think, is the perfect like Spider-Man esque way it is in the comics. But I won't say he's the best Peter
So
Parker. I think that's different.
are you are you basing your Spider-Man off of are you going off comic book accuracy for
I'm
what
going
you
off of
want your
like
Spider-Man to be?
I'm going off a little bit of both, to be honest, because it's like I'm not,
Because
it's not a nostalgia thing for me because I didn't really like we didn't really grow up with those ones. Those ones are like were like a
no.
little bit before our times. Like yes, I watched those, but like in my opinion, I think it's just how yeah, like comic book accuracy is like a big thing for me. You know this because of like the last episode we were talking about
Yeah.
like Batman and all that stuff. But I
Yeah.
think like in like seeing New York, like that's just a big thing for like Spider-Man to like go through and like his suit is honestly one of the best. It's just a very big like comic accurate thing for me. I think he's the best Spider-Man. I don't think he's the best Peter Parker, and I don't think he's the best of both worlds in my opinion.
So here's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say I think if you're looking at who the best Spider-Man and who the best Peter Parker is, it's Andrew Garfield. I think
Agreed.
he checks both boxes.
Agreed.
Um, I think overall he goes through a bigger struggle than what Tom Holland's Spider-Man goes through right now, and I'm emphasizing the right now because we haven't seen Brand New Day yet. But in terms of struggles, the most that obviously Tom Holland's Spider-Man loses Aunt May, um, but Peter Parker or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man lost Gwen Stacy. He doesn't have Uncle Ben, right? Like that kind of thing. And I think in terms of being a Peter Parker, I think he also checks all the boxes, being a guy um, who likes school, right? Who is excited about going to school and learning, and um, like that kind like what you said, like comic book accuracy, sort of reliving what the comics were made to be. I think for those reasons, Andrew Garfield is my personal favorite, but I think we can all agree that Tom Holland's sort of in between in my book. Um, I don't think he's lost enough yet to be Spider-Man, but again, Brand New Day hasn't came out. We don't know what that movie's gonna be like or what's gonna happen there. But um,
Yeah, Lord knows.
and personally, I'm excited for Brand New Day. I think it's gonna be a great setup for Doomsday and eventually Secret Wars. But um, James, what do you think? What do you think Toby's the best Spider-Man?
I pretty much agreed with what Carson said, like in terms of like the comics and stuff. Like I remember watching like the movies when I was younger, but like I gotta rewatch it again, like type shit.
Okay,
But
so
I was
Well,
like Toby.
I
I
have more to
wanna
say
I
about
wanna
this, but we
no
can
go ahead.
move
What you
on
gonna
if we
say?
need to. So like as
No,
you
what you gonna
said
say?
too, like as you said, like this is the thing. Toby, best Spider-Man. Tom, best Peter Parker, but the best of both worlds is Andrew. And I think that yes, what you said is like I think in TASM 2, best Spider-Man suit we will get until Brand New Day, until we see like his suit at the beginning and then when he gets his suit destroyed and then see his other suit. But like he's the best Peter Parker, or not the best Peter Parker, sorry, but he's the best at doing both because he did lose more. He lost Gwen Stacy. He also lost Gwen's dad, which also was on him technically. And then it kind of shifted his personality, like, or shifted his mindset by should I be being with Gwen because it's going to put her in harm's way, but because I'm Spider Man, because she can get, killed as she did by Harry. So it's like, I think the way that they went about the villains, though, is a little iffy to me, but I like the way that he is with Electro, like before he turns into Electro, because he's nice to him.
Yeah.
You know, he's like he tries to bring out like that inner side of Electro and try and like, you know, I hate that that's what the MCU is nowadays, but like try and like be friends with them, be friends with the villains, but that's really what he was. Like that's what he was trying to be. He was Spider-Man at one point, but he's also Peter Parker in the same go around, especially in the end scene of TASM 2 when that little kid is going up to fight Rhino, and it's that same kid that he met like just a week before or whatever with his project.
Hmm.
Like I think that's just really cool too. I think, but Tom just and Ryan and I talked about this too about Tom. I kind of had a hot take, but Tom's just hasn't done it for me yet. I think there's not enough that he's done to just solidify himself as being the best Spider-Man, being the best of both. But I do think he's a great Peter Parker. He's got like that charisma. He's got that witty humor. He's got the love life. You know, I like that side of him, but it's just the way that they went about Peter Parker too. Like the only downside to him is the whole Tony Stark friendship side of things. I think that just really killed what Peter Parker is. But that's
Yeah.
all I had to put my 2 cents in on.
So I want to get into before we end it, I want to get your guys's one a
Oh,
scorching hot take for Marvel or DC or something like that. Like one movie hot take that you got that you know no one else is going to disagree with. Um, so if anyone wants to get us started, I know me and Carson kind of hit on this last week, but I'm sure I'm sure he's got some more. I definitely have some more. So I want to know what you guys have that is going to ruffle a couple feathers.
Oh man. You said a hot take. You want a hot take?
Hot take.
I think. See, I don't know how big you guys are into Star Wars, but I
I'm into
think that
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars. Okay, I think Star Wars is never getting out of the hole that they're in. I think that they are too deep into their hole to the point where they can't dig themselves out of it. They can't even see daylight anymore. It's like digging down to like what is it like the end in Minecraft? Like that's what it is. Like they're falling into lava.
You
Like
think Star Wars is dead?
honestly, like when I think of Star Wars, I think of the first three,
Mm,
and then the originals, and then Clone Wars, The Bad Batch, Rebels. That's and Ahsoka and
yeah.
Kenobi, and then Mandalorian. But also the Mandalorian was like that was like our first taste at TV for Disney Plus and like Star Wars, and they did a good job at it in like the first season and then the first half of season two, but it in the third season it was just too much filler, too much jumbled together, and then into the new movie, which I haven't personally seen yet, but over reviews, like one of my friends said that it was literally like the biggest. It was the longest amount of Mandalorian filler he's ever watched in his entire life, and it's 2.5 hours of
Yeah.
that.
That's also what I've
Like
been hearing.
the Mandalorian was such a cool concept. It was so awesome, but then just to see it like just go downhill was the worst thing ever. And it's not like Disney Plus can't do a good TV series because look at Marvel. They have WandaVision, Loki, Moon Knight, Hawkeye. They have a lot of good TV
What
shows.
if?
What If, exactly. Like What If would be a perfect Star Wars spinoff because we could learn about like Star Killer and we could get even deeper into like Rebels and like all that type
Hmm.
of stuff, like Knights of the Old Republic, the High Republic. We could get into all that type of stuff, even like a Yoda origin story in What If. But they just, I think that they're in such a deep hole with the sequels that it's so hard for them to make a movie and make them be what Star Wars is because it's so the sequels were so off track of what George Lucas wanted. And I know that you've seen the clip, Ryan, of Hat Guy saying that um
Oh yeah.
uh
Who cares?
yeah, no, he's like, no, not even that. He's like saying that they made the sequels better than George
Oh
Lucas,
yeah.
like they understood Star Wars better than George Lucas did when he created it. Like that's just I don't understand that. And
That's crazy.
it's
But
and
no,
they have good
I agree
it's
with you
like
for sure.
I can't, dude. It's like, and we do have a couple Star Wars films to like look forward to, like Starfighter, and then the new Star Wars film by Taika Waititi. but I'm like so eager to get a Star Wars movie that makes
There's
me feel like it's Star Wars.
I've watched the first I think the first two seasons of Mandalorian. I think I got through the first two, and I thought it was over. Like I genuinely thought like
Yeah.
it was gonna be the end after Luke Skywalker is on the ship and
Hmm.
he asks about Grogu, and like I thought it was gonna be over. And I found out they came out with the third season. I honestly had no passion to watch it. I didn't watch any
Hmm.
of the third season, and I my uncle went to go see the movie, and he literally said to me, he's like, if you like Mandalorian and Grogu, it's literally just 2.5 hours of them and just an extended episode. Like it literally is just an
Yeah.
extended episode of The Mandalorian,
It's
and that is really irritating to me because, like you said, that was a really good start to a series,
yeah.
and
It
it
just
sucks to
declined.
see what it became.
Like that season
But
two, like you
to
said, it should have been
me,
over.
it should have been over after Luke
And that's the one
rescued
thing I don't
Grogu. But
understand is how do you go on with like that's such a big subplot, like a hole that you have Luke Skywalker saving Grogu, who is the only other besides Yaddle, but the only other Yoda like being who's still alive in the rest of the originals and then the sequels, and we don't hear about him at all, don't see him, nothing like that. So it's like kind of like a giant like plot hole that we don't get that in any of the movies. Like there's no callback to it in the originals, like oh like he went and saved, or like even in the sequels like that it's like foreshadowing that because it's kind of a big deal in The Mandalorian when they get saved by a Jedi. And he does have like I'm a big Luke hater because I just don't like him, but that is the most
yeah,
badass scene in The Mandalorian when he comes in and takes out all those guys. But I don't know, man.
James, do you have one?
I do a little bit, but before I talk about that, I want to backtrack a little bit with the Aaron Donald thing.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like the only reason why I don't want him to come back is because we played them in week 12.
Mm,
Yeah, well,
that'd be
Played them
tough.
on
we gotta play
Thanksgiving
him
Eve.
two times. We gotta play him two times this season, and even in probably even in the playoffs.
Oh, well, you're the
So
uh huh? Oh, Seahawks, right?
yeah,
Oh, okay, good, good. Because I hate the Niners. I was about to say,
yeah, I did
but
too,
yeah,
and I hate the Cardinals.
yeah, that's gonna be tough. Man, I remember we beat the undefeated Cardinals. That was a good ass game. No
Yeah,
Tay, no Alan Lazard because they had COVID. It was just Aaron Jones and yeah. But I don't know if it's a hot take or not because I'm not really like that knowledgeable in terms of like Marvel movies and all that. But I ain't gonna lie. In my opinion, I think Deadpool and Wolverine needs another movie, bro. Because yo,
you
the
know what?
amount of fuckery that I saw in that movie,
But
That's
like
not
that's the
that
thing
shit
crazy,
was
bro.
too.
That's
I honestly agree with that take because we've never seen that side of
yeah,
Marvel ever, and that was one of the best Marvel movies I've watched.
exactly.
And like, I
I,
don't
I,
know, man.
I ain't
Like,
gonna lie. When I went to the movie with my friends in the city, bro, I love that. I love that movie, bro. I ain't
and
gonna
I'm not
lie.
even
Like,
gonna lie.
bro, like they're the most unserious duo ever, and that's mainly
And
because of Deadpool's antics.
no, yeah, exactly. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like when they showed like the Fox thing at the end, like with all the characters and stuff, that made me tear up because like that was literally what we grew up on, and then they just like threw it to
Bro,
the side. Pissed me off,
exactly,
man.
bro. That shit was funny.
bro. Y'all honestly aren't ready for what I'm about to say
Oh god,
Uh
because
oh,
man.
drum
I
rolls.
guarantee you this is gonna be a clip, and I have no problem with it being a clip. And I'm being so honest when I say this. I am not farming clips. I'm not doing anything like that. This is genuinely coming from my heart, and I want everyone to know that before I say what I'm about to say. This is me being so genuine and
Should I
pure.
brace for impact here?
I think you might need to sit down because what I'm going to say might irk you. Like, I'm, I would never lie
Irk
about
me
this.
specifically?
This is something, this is something that I would never ever lie about. To me, in my opinion, the Iron Man trilogy is unwatchable. It is unwatchable. It is. I got through the first half of the first movie. Don't tell me I didn't try to watch it. I got through half of the first movie, and I had no desire to finish it. Absolutely zero desire to finish it. I had I had no will. After Rhodey was talking to Tony after the he almost blew up the two jets. I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on? I have I after that I had there was nothing going on. The charismatic Tony was cool at the beginning, with the interviewer and stuff like that, but I absolutely I couldn't finish those movies at all. At all.
All right. This is the only thing I'm going to say about this. Actually, I'll say a couple things about it. So I don't really like unwatchable. I think is like not the term I would use. I don't like them as much as a lot of people do. I think Captain America trilogy, best trilogy that we have besides Guardians of the Galaxy. But like I like the first one. I'm not like as big of a fan of it as everybody else is, but Iron Man 2 is my favorite Iron Man movie. I love the suit. I love like his suit up. I love all that type of stuff. I love like how he has to be the F1 driver to like fit in and then try and find out intel. Love that. But the third one is unwatchable. I cannot stand the third one. The second one's my favorite. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. And the first one is like it's good. It's good for an origin story, but it's like not that good. Like Captain America, the first Avenger, peak. It's peak origin story. It is so good, especially like the time it's based around with all the propaganda and stuff like that. Peak. It's perfect. But I can understand about the Iron Man thing. It's just I can't say they're unwatchable. I would just say like I don't appreciate them as much as a lot of other people do.
James, what do you gotta say about my take?
I respect that take. I didn't really see that movie because I knew a lot of people was not gonna like it that much. Like I saw the reviews of it.
Yeah,
Some people overhyped it, and a lot of people didn't really like it. Like my friends told me that they ain't fuck with it, so I was like, I'm not watching
that's crazy, bro. I thought I was gonna have y'all ready to kill me for
I
saying
don't know,
that.
man.
it. Nah.
Like I don't think that's like a crazy take. I just don't think that like I think they're watchable. I just don't think they're like that good. Like that's just like my take away from that. Like I can agree with you like I don't like them like at all. I'd much rather watch like either like if I had to watch like an origin story that I'd enjoy, I'd rather watch Captain America or Black Panther, Shang-Chi, those three right there. 10 times
100%.
Oh
over
yeah.
Iron Man.
Yep.
10 times over Iron Man because I like I know that it's like supposed to be this really cool like story about him and stuff, but all those scenes with him in the cave and him fighting Ironmonger, I just can't stand. Can't stand it. And I don't think that Ironmonger is a good villain at all. Like I can't. And I don't know. I don't like Iron Man as much as a lot of other people do either. I just don't think he's like that. The only
You
time I
know what
like him is
sucks
like
is
what
Oh,
was that?
oh shit.
says reconnecting. Okay, I think you're good. I
Okay, yeah,
think.
you win. But
All right.
what I was gonna say, I hate how they threw Whiplash away. Whiplash is one of my
Agreed.
favorite
Agreed.
villains, and I hate how they threw him off to the side. That's what
Hmm.
I feel like this is the story of the MCU. If your name isn't Thanos or soon to be Doctor Doom or Loki, you have no depth, and I hate that. I need MCU side villains to have a little bit more, you know, give the audience a little more emotional connection to the villains because I've seen Whiplash in shows in different shows growing up, and that dude is sick. Like
Hmm.
I wish he would be around, and he just wasn't a throwaway villain.
Yeah, I agree
You
with
know
that.
what was the hot take I read a few years ago? Not a few years ago, but like 2019, 2020-ish. I saw a hot take that someone said on, I think it was on Twitter or Reddit, one or the other. Someone said Thanos should have never lost
You know
in
what?
Endgame.
I think
That's not crazy.
that's not crazy to say that, but like I think I don't know. I think that in my personal opinion, I think that Endgame should have ended, and then we should have gotten every movie after it to end the MCU, and then we just get side movies that are like a different Iron Man, a different Captain America, like all these different other stories that we can get from the comics that aren't these same characters, because then you get RDJ playing Doom, which I don't know how that's going to go around, but like I think that they
Yeah,
should have
Lord
just
knows
ended
about
the
that.
MCU. I think they should have just ended the MCU where it was at with Endgame, and then made Doomsday and Secret Wars with like a different style of characters, like a different Captain America, a different Fantastic Four, a different Iron Man, a different, like all these different characters with different actors, because I think it just got to be too much in a way. The Endgame was kind of the perfect cap off. And then if you want to make shows and movies, make them about different times in these characters' lives instead of just making brand new movies on a timeline that just is it just keeps going.
Yep,
So I think we will wrap it up there. Episode 4. Great having y'all on the pod. We'll be back
Pacho.
next week. Same time,
Appreciate it.
same squad. Hopefully Aiden can hop on, but good
Yes,
seeing y'all.
sir.
See y'all next
Yes,
week.
sir. Sounds
Okay,
good.
did y'all?